about to stream, and then I'm gonna play something else. Okay. I'll play Instrumental of the Midnight. Look at that, MK Jackson. Your middle name is H, right? Michael Hammond Jackson.
H? I actually have 2 middle names.
But your actual middle name is Michael Hammond Jackson.
No. That's not. Am I missing something? Is that like Michael Jackson's middle name?
No,
The
it's
other
just
Michael Jackson?
it's just awesome if your name is Michael Hammond Jackson.
Oh.
Hammond, you know, like Jurassic Park. Okay, let's see. We are live. Ask us questions about Versa. Okay, I just tweetsted it. And then I'm just gonna. Do you want water?
No. Well, yeah, maybe a glass. Do you want to come in and grab it?
If you want that, I'll bring it.
So how much better is TweetBot than TweetDeck?
The last time I tried TweetDeck was when it first launched.
Yeah.
In like 2007.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. But I can't imagine there being a better experience than TweetBot.
Yeah. Yeah, TweetBot looks pretty nice.
Yes, he's quite
Barcelona.
You got it. So when we field questions, actually, I'm gonna pop out this question window, pop out chat, and I guess we'll just have to read from here. That chat right there. Oh, you were. Okay. What do we got here?
Yeah, they follow along with you. You do want to run.
There's 6 human beings watching us right now.
Around trees.
Oh, nice. It's awesome. Yeah, I just saw the article. It's like, dang.
Can I get into the chat so I can see it?
And,
If I just pop open YouTube,
yeah, you should be able to see it right there.
I'm gonna see it right there, right? Except for the video, I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna pause the stream because I'm here. So I don't need to see the stream. This is 4 people watching now. Let's.
Well, I'll just see it here. Mine says 6 people watching.
Am I? I'm not even on your Wi-Fi, bro. Give me the Wi-Fi.
Well, I'm still sitting in the tree. All one word.
In the.
Hey. Oh, look. The thing is the port, and then that was the password I gave you.
Got it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you already tweet from Versa?
No, I did not.
Do it right now.
I can do it.
Alright, do it.
Yeah, it's alright. I'm still working on it. I'm gonna have a. Yeah.
Pretty positive it's just recording. Wait, turn this way.
In busy business.
Oh, snap, dude. Donald Trump followed us on Twitter. Oh no, he didn't.
What?
It says highlights from Donald Trump and Katy Perry. So, see less often. It's a new Twitter account, so like I haven't like configured all of the
Yeah, I don't get it.
the in Tweetbot.
Oh, man.
Do you use Tweetbot on the phone too?
I use it on the phone on the Mac. It's just Twitter.
So your whole Twitter
So there's
experience
no ads.
is
there's-
just Tweetbot.
yeah. There's no ads. There's no like changing of the timeline.
You never go to twitter.com? I can.
I never have actually.
You never have.
Well, I mean I've been there, but I've never like used it.
Yeah. Interesting. My primary interface these days is TweetDeck, and it's kind
I
of.
saw you add something. It said like Michael Jackson made a team for Versa. I was like, I didn't even know that was possible. And you can tweet from your account onto Versa.
Oh, on TweetDeck.
Oh.
Yeah, so on TweetDeck you can be logged in as like 6 different accounts at once.
Yeah, that's like Tweetbot.
Tweetbot, you can do that too. So you can tweet as any of those accounts. Yeah, whenever you want. See right here.
Right there. Bing, 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 bing. You can
Yeah,
add
yeah.
as many as you want.
So you're tweeting as all. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So one of the cool things about TweetDeck is you can like add an account to your TweetDeck profile, and then you can let other people tweet as that person or as that company without giving them the password.
Got it. Look, we can see what people are saying right there. So my eyes are so bad.
Hey folks, will there be an ICO and how can I get in early?
I'm gonna bump it up once. Kirill, I just talked to him on a podcast called Rad Dads.
Bump it up like 2. So I didn't bring my glasses.
There we go. There will not be an ICO, so therefore you can't get in early. Actually, my chair's in the way. One thing after another.
Drew will answer all ICO related questions. I delegate to Drew. You were thinking about it though.
There we go. Yeah, so no ICO.
What did Jen say?
Your guy's couple name is Dykel Wax.
I can live with that. Dykel Waxon.
So, yeah, so the reason there's no ICO is because we don't need to have our own coin. You can just, we'll get into it in a minute, but Versa's built on Stellar, so it uses lumens. So you don't actually need to have a special like Versa coin, at least at this point. And if we did, it would actually be a token. And so we could do a token sell or sale, but we wouldn't do an ICO like an initial coin offering, because we're not making a new coin. If we made anything, it'd just be a token on Stellar. Yeah. Yep, so let's get into it. If we were to start the video here, we would say, what's up, my name is Drew Wilson,
Hi, I'm Michael Jackson.
and together we're building a new app, a new service for cryptocurrency called Versa. And we're going to take a few minutes, talk about what we're doing, what we're planning on, and where we're going. And as I'm talking off the cuff. We have not rehearsed anything. Or even mentioned one or two words about what we're going to say. So this is going to be great. So let's start off with what Versa is. Do you want to start or you want me to go ahead?
Sure. Versa is two things. From the seller side, Versa works kind of like Stripe. It's basically an API, a product that a seller or merchant can integrate right into their website or their stack or wherever they're selling, and can accept payments in Stellar or Lumens. And then from the consumer side, they have an app on their phone which they can use to pay that seller in Lumens. And so it works kind of like an Apple Pay or an Android Pay on the consumer side.
Yep. Yeah, so really, if you take a look at the world of crypto right now, there are the biggest players in the game, probably the biggest one being Coinbase in the US. They all enable you to buy crypto, but you can't actually do anything with that crypto once you have it.
Raise your hand if you bought something with crypto.
Yeah, something
Anyway,
other than another
Other
piece
than
of
more
crypto.
crypto. or altcoin.
So there's really nothing to do with the crypto other than hold on to it as an asset. Nothing wrong with that. But in order to bring about this future that's promised with cryptocurrency, where you can circumvent the banks, you can circumvent all traditional payment systems, there has to be a way to spend the crypto on goods. That is the full circle of the economy, right? So in order to bring about this crypto future, there has to be some way to buy crypto. To buy products with crypto. And that's what we're doing at Versa. That's like the goal, is to enable that. And the way to enable that is to create a payment experience that is as good or better than the current payment experiences that credit offers, that cash offers, and that ACH offers.
We're putting the currency back in cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what
I
to
mean,
say.
that's what it means, right? Currency, something that you use to exchange for goods and
Yep.
services.
Yep.
Right now, you can't do that with crypto.
Yep. So the other big companies in the space, like I mentioned before, Coinbase, for example, they allow you to buy crypto, and they came at cryptocurrency from that angle. We're coming at it from the other side, where we're allowing you to buy things with crypto. Eventually down the road, we can, as we grow, and if it's needed, which I think will be, we can become an exchange ourselves. So you can pull up your Versa app, which is a crypto wallet, and trade your US dollars for crypto. But in the future, way in the future, it would be awesome if people could trade their time for crypto. Right now, we trade our time for US dollars, for euros, for wherever you are, and we trade it for fiat currency. But if there was enough things to buy, and you could sustain your well-being by buying things with crypto, then it becomes all right, and it becomes reasonable to then get paid for work in crypto. But that cannot happen unless you can actually buy the things you need to sustain yourself. And so that's the angle we're coming out with Versa, is enabling merchants to get up and going with cryptocurrency easily. That experience right now does not exist anywhere. The two closest things that are similar to Versa is what Stripe had for Bitcoin. So Stripe used to have a Bitcoin integration, which they have since canceled, discontinued.
Yep.
And the way that it worked is, if you had Bitcoin, you had it in some wallet that you downloaded, some wallet software, some hardware, whatever you did. Somehow you had Bitcoins already. Then, as a merchant of fancytshirts.com, I could sign up for Stripe, and I could say I want to accept Bitcoin. They would either generate for me, or I would give them my Bitcoin account, my public key. And when someone visited my Fancy T-shirt site and they say, check out, buy this shirt with crypto, and they choose Bitcoin, they would see a QR code, which is just a image version of your public key.
Snap it with your phone.
They would snap it with their phone with a completely separate app. So this customer has to have Bitcoin in some wallet they download. It has nothing to do with Fancy T-shirts, has nothing to do with Stripe, has nothing to do with anything. They just happen to have their own wallet. They use that to snap the QR code, and it pays the Fancy T-shirt directly over the Bitcoin network. Stripes aren't involved in anything like that. So that right there is there's a big rift in the experience right there, because you have to have some separate wallet. You can't complete the transaction using Stripe. You have to have something else. The other one that's like that right now that still exists is Coinbase Commerce. They allow you to, it's a little better because most people have the Coinbase app if they have crypto. And so you can actually use the Coinbase app to, again, look at a computer screen, see a QR code, scan it, and then your Coinbase app can send that person money. So it's a little better because it's still the Coinbase brand on the screen and on your phone. However, Coinbase only implements or only supports proof of work and proof of stake cryptocurrencies. And those take anywhere from 6 minutes to 6 hours to actually complete a transaction. Because if you look at the transaction times, that's only part of the story. Transaction time means for one check on a blockchain to go through, it takes, like, say, 2 minutes on Ethereum. But Ethereum requires 30 checks before a transaction is complete, and Bitcoin requires 3. So these things can take a long time. So that means if you go to Amazon.com to buy shoes, and you say check out with Bitcoin, and then you scan it and all that kind of jazz, and you say send them the stuff, it's going to take potentially hours for Amazon to actually receive that payment. So that is not an improvement upon credit, not an improvement upon cash, not an improvement upon anything.
Well, it's also, besides the fact that it takes forever, it's also super expensive. Right?
Yeah.
You thought sales tax was bad, so you invent the cryptocurrency, use the cryptocurrency instead, and now every time you make a transaction on Bitcoin, you pay, what is it? I think I sold some the other day, and it was like $12. It depends on how much depends on how much you're doing, but it's not a small amount that you pay.
Yep, it's expensive, and the price goes up, especially on Ethereum when the network gets more popular. So as more people are using it, the price goes up and up and up, and it can get to the point where you're paying 15% of the amount of money that you're trying to send, you will pay in fees. So it gets extremely expensive. So from a buyer's perspective, buying things with Ethereum and Bitcoin and any other proof of work or proof of stake crypto sucks because it takes so long. You're used to the idea of like instant payment, like with credit or with ACH or with cash. That doesn't exist with proof of work, proof of stake, and it never will. Even if they had Lightning, nothing will make it that fast.
Yeah.
And
There's a question on the live stream says, why did you choose Lumens?
oh, that's what I'm getting to.
I feel like
all
you-
this talk. That's
I
what
feel
I'm
like-
about to get to.
I feel like you were getting there, so I just want to
Yeah.
let people know, hey, we are addressing the questions
Yes,
as they're coming through.
I'm trying to explain the problem right now. So I should have prefaced with that. This is the problem. So, so on the other side, the merchant, it's much worse for the merchant because you have this really huge delay. And if the merchant decides to eat fees for buyers or something by, discounting the price, they're losing out money, right? So either the buyer's going to pay fees, or the merchant can eat the fees for the buyer by, changing the price of the product. But either way, you got to pay fees, and you got to have this huge delay. And so that just proof of work, proof of stake cryptos just flat out do not work for payments. In order for cryptocurrency to provide a better experience, it has to be faster or as fast, and it has to have the same amount of fees or less. And so that's where consensus networks come in. Cryptocurrencies that implement that, like Stellar. Ripple does as well. The person who founded or created Ripple, Jed McCaleb, went off and also created Stellar because Ripple has some big gaping security holes that he talks about because he's the one who created both of them. And so Stellar solves all that. Stellar is near instant payments. At scale, at most, you'll wait 5 seconds for something to happen, but typically it's under a second.
Well, and it's so fast because the consensus algorithm works in a different way. Instead of getting consensus from all the nodes on the network, you actually only need consensus in the Stellar network from 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or how many ever nodes you choose to trust and have consensus with. So that's how it's able to scale a lot easier. That the whole network is eventually consistent, not immediately consistent. We don't all have to agree right now on what the state of the ledger is.
Yep. And if you want to watch some videos on this, just search the word Jed McCaleb on YouTube, and he has tons of talks on how all this works and how it's great and everything. And what Stellar's trying to do is provide the internet protocol for payments, just the very bare bones, low level, so that way everybody can be sending payments between each other without having to do all these exchanges and all this other kind of crazy stuff.
Imagine if when we were building the original internet, and this is kind of a problem actually, is the internet is built on DNS, right? And there are only, 13 DNS backbone servers in the world. And DNS is actually, it's a huge kind of, you say it's like a weak spot in the internet, right? If a DNS provider goes down, huge portions of the internet go offline, or for example, if AWS goes down.
Yep.
So that's kind of like what Bitcoin has eventually done with, or has actually done with this ledger that everybody has to agree on. Is there's you have to put all of the traffic through this kind of single. It's not a single point of failure, but it's like putting it through a little narrow bottleneck.
Yeah.
As opposed to the original, I think, vision of crypto, which was, the ledger is distributed. Also, consensus should be distributed so that it can scale.
Yep. And with proof of work crypto, there are third parties involved, miners, that have to actually take your transaction and move it to the blockchain. With Stellar, that doesn't exist, so that's why things are also faster. Because you're not waiting around for somebody. Because you got to factor that into the time too. Even though Ethereum might say it gets these transactions done in X amount of minutes, that's often, depending on which site you look at, doesn't include the wait time before some miner picks up your transaction and decides to push it along with all the other things into the block. So that's why we're going with Stellar, because it's made for payments. They market it as being made for payments. The company itself is super cool. You can look it into if you want. It's a nonprofit. And so all I have to say, we are not building our own coin here. We are using Stellar, and we are building on top of that to create an end-to-end payment experience where we take care of the merchants on the merchant side, we take care of the customers on the customer side. So that means building two things, and that is, as you mentioned before, a wallet app that you can download on Android or iOS, and it'll be the Versa app, and it will be just like a traditional wallet. You'll be able to receive lumens. You'll be able to send lumens.
By the way, if you are a geek like we are, if you're kind of a nerd and you're interested in how these types of products are built, we're actually planning on sharing as much as we possibly can. I'm kind of an introvert, so I'm not as good at sharing as Drew is, but Drew has already shared a lot of our designs. He shared a video of him explaining the design to me. I'm going to be doing some screen recordings and then hopefully sharing. I'm actually been doing React for the last couple of years. I'm using React Native to build the app, so it's my first time to dive into React Native. If you've been curious about that, you might be interested. Or if you're just curious about how two dudes who want to build something cool go about it, this is basically what we're gonna share. So if that's appealing to you, that technical side, you're gonna want to follow along because we're gonna take this product from zero to launch just as quickly as we possibly can.
Yep.
Sorry, interrupted. That's the
Yeah.
one piece of it. That's the client, the wallet.
Yeah, so that's the wallet. Definitely follow along, like you said. It doesn't mean everything we do is going to be open source, because a lot of people keep asking that question.
They're like, oh, cool. So you're just giving everything away for free. Well,
It means that our process is going to be open, and
Yeah.
you'll get to see how this company gets built. And okay, so we have the wallet on the consumer side, so anyone can download that. It's a fee-free wallet. We believe that we definitely need to, in order to keep the crypto future, the promise of the crypto future alive, it's definitely got to be a fee-free wallet. We're not going to charge any fees to transfer lumens in and out of there. We'll be 100% out of that. No fees for that wallet. The other side is what we're building is more like an API. So it's like Stripe for crypto, specifically starting out with Stellar. So we'll build an API that merchants or the developers can integrate into to then accept payments in lumens. And right now, if you were to do that, you'd have to spin up your own Stellar nodes on your own server and use their built-in Horizon API to like push things to the blockchain. So there's like a lot of like get up and go when it comes to like doing crypto. All that will be gone. We'll just integrate with an API similar to Stripe, and you'll be able to accept money. And the way that you'll be able to do it is people will pay with their Versa wallet. So it'll be this end-to-end thing. And those two combined will give us an Apple Pay-like experience where you can go to a merchant's website, you can say checkout with Versa or pay with Versa, and then that will notify the phone, and they'll be able to biometrically accept that payment request. So when you open up the phone, you'll have to either Face ID in or fingerprint ID in, and then you'll be able to accept the payment, and then that will get sent off to our servers, and that will the payment will be stored there, so you have an interface so you can, as a merchant, you can go in and see that. But the payment is actually taking place on the phone. The phone is the one that sends the money from this wallet to the merchant. So yeah, it'll be great that way. We're also going to enable so that way merchants, if they want, can charge a transaction fee. We won't be charging one, but if merchants want to, we're going to do some pretty cool stuff on the phone to enable transaction fees. So you can charge those if you want, if your business depends on it. If you want to do something like a Kickstarter kind of business model, you'll be able to do that, which nobody else is doing right now. So that'll be pretty rad.
and that's, just to be clear, we don't make money on the wallet. The wallet is always free. The ability to accept Stellar for merchants that's our business model, is charging the merchants for the ability to accept those payments. A lot like Stripe charges a merchant to integrate with Stripe on their site.
Yep. So we will be charging the merchants, and right now we're thinking we're just going to be doing just like a regular SaaS. So we'll be charging a monthly fee based on how much transactions you're doing, that kind of thing. So it'll be pretty simple.
Tyler wants to talk about
Yeah.
secret key ownership.
So that's something we just had a conversation about yesterday, I think, or maybe it was this morning. I don't know. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to support both concepts: the concept of really easy and the concept of really secure. And by default, what happens when you sign up with Versa is we create a Stellar account for you, fund it with a Lumen for you, so you can start using it. We also then encrypt your secret key, send it off to our server, And here's why. In the event that you lose your phone, or you accidentally delete the app, or something bad like that happens,
Or you get mugged and your
Get
phone
mugged.
gets stolen, which happens to people who have hardware keys. It happens
you
all
get
the time.
robbed.
Yeah.
The only way to recover that is with your private key. If your private key is on your phone or was in the app and it's gone now, you're kind of screwed. And that's how all wallets treat you, is you're screwed if this happens. So what we'll do is we'll store that private key encrypted on our server, so then you can use a traditional login to then say, oh, I lost my key. Reinstall Versa, log in, and it puts it back on your phone. If you want, during the sign-up process, we'll have a way to say, do not do not send my private key to Versa. And in that case, it will always just stay on the phone. It will never get sent to us. And in that case, if you lose your phone and you lose your private key, you're screwed. So,
But I mean, that's the risk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the risk that you take with total control of your assets. Is you have to be able to manage that. You have to be able to control that. You know, I mean, nowadays there's lots of people will go onto Coinbase and they'll just store all of their money on Coinbase. They don't have a wallet. They just store it all there, and that's easy for people to use. That's easy for people to get into. But we understand that is not super appealing to like hardcore crypto enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And so we also have this alternative, even though the default will be give us your private key for safekeeping, so that we can give it back to you in case you lose your phone or it gets stolen or whatever.
Yep. And it's from a product perspective, absolutely nothing will change between the two modes of like pro mode versus not pro mode.
Yeah.
The only difference,
Because it's your phone that does the transaction anyway.
the only difference being is that you won't be able to retrieve your private key if you're in the pro mode. Literally the only difference. Otherwise, it'd be all the same because all the transactions take place on your phone. So
Tyler says, so wallets will be funded from a secondary Stellar account.
that secondary Stellar account will be us.
Yeah.
So we're going to pre-fund all wallets with Lumen because
Free money!
yeah, because Stellar requires a 1 Lumen balance, minimum balance. If you do want to, then say you put a bunch of money in there and you want to completely cash out, you'll be able to completely cash out. It's just your Versa account and your Stellar account that's backing that will also get removed
Yeah, it sounds
because you can't have a Stellar account with less than a Lumen. Anything less than a Lumen, that's just how the protocol works. So we will be creating accounts for you. You'll have it there. If you do decide to say, oh, free Lumen, I'll just sign up for Versa, take out a Lumen, and
Cha-ching!
be good. We're actually going to prevent you from doing that. So you can't do that. Basically, what we're going to do is on our server, we're going to store a little flag that says free Lumen is in use, and if you ever put money into the account more than 2 lumens,
Then we get our free Lumen.
then we will take that free Lumen back from you. So it's kind of like a Lumen for rent, so that way you can actually rob us and all that kind of stuff. But that's how it be.
This ain't Robin Hood.
No,
Although
man.
it'd be cool if it was, because Robin Hood was cool.
So, you had a question there about React Native, or is it just
No.
just saying?
Jamin, hi Jamin. Jamin's just like React Native plus. He likes
Yeah.
it. He's excited about it. Jamin runs the Chain React Conf up in Portland.
Sweet.
Your old stomping
Ronald
grounds.
Simon goes, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. Actually, used to work in Portland. Grew up in Vancouver, Washington. So now we kind of described what Versa is. Our roadmap. Let's talk about that. So, like what we plan to do. So, first off, we're building the app. You want to talk a little bit about what you got going on there?
I'm gonna build the app tomorrow,
Hold
and
that.
then I'm gonna yeah. So the timeline that we're working on obviously is super aggressive. We are trying to figure out how to best accomplish it at this point. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. I put out a feeler the other day to see if I could get some help with the React Native side of it. I did. There were a lot of people who responded and are up for helping. So thank you very much. Been in touch with quite a few people already to help us out with the React Native side of it. And then obviously that's just the wallet. On the other side is the network and the payments API. Which is something that I've had quite a bit of experience with building in the past. So that's I'm gonna mainly kind of head up that piece of it. And then, but the cool thing about our team is that we're actually both engineers. And so Drew, even though Drew is operating in more of like a CEO role, will also be able to dive in and help out with technical implementation and details, as well as doing all of the visual design.
Indeed. And so the wallet, first part of that is building it, getting it out, and then we're going to be moving on to the actual service, the Stripe-like service, building out the API.
Yeah. In general, I think it's just more fun, and it's just more. It just feels more real when you're building a new product if you focus on the front end first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just get those screens up, get those things. You can look at it, you can tap. Okay, maybe you got an animation. Oh, but it's all fake. Oh, well, okay, spin up a server, and now it's not fake anymore. You know, but that's generally my approach to building things, and so that's what I'm going to try and do.
And we've kept the feature scope really small. And someone asked on their phase, what if you make multiple accounts? But it's not going to support multiple accounts in one wallet right now. So that'll help us launch sooner. It's just keeping it small. And really, I mean, the only reason that that Versa, the whole idea of the concept exists is because I was trying to add crypto payments, specifically Stellar, to my e-commerce platform, Plasso. You know, dove in with the Stellar guys. They were super cool, helping me every step of the way, try to figure this out. And, you know, come to find out that unless you do the QR code scanning way and separately try to pay off screen, that you have to go to your phone and do a totally separate payment. The only other way to do it right there on the checkout, on the checkout flow, on the cart, is to paste in your private key into the checkout. That way the cart could then, you know, issue the payment for you, which obviously is not cool and not something we're going to do or anyone should do. But that's literally the only way, because there's no concept of like single-use tokens or anything else. So something like Versa needs to exist in order to bridge that gap and make it so that way payments, like in an e-commerce or a merchant kind of platform, can happen. And in the future, we can move beyond online. Obviously, we can move in store. We can, like I said, mentioned before, become an exchange. So that way, in Versa, you can just, you know, switch USD over to limits, that kind of thing.
Got a question over here from. Sorry, I gotta keep. Phase. Will you? What if you make multiple accounts?
I just talked about
Oh,
that.
sorry. I couldn't tell if that was related. All right, next question. Jamin says, will you support B2B?
Business to business transactions.
I mean, I think it's just another Versa transaction, right? I mean, it's not. There's not a whole lot different that we have to do.
The only difference I could see, maybe what you're trying to get at, Jamin, is not purchasing or not completing the purchase from your phone. What if you were in like some corporate environment where they weren't allowed to have, you know, personal phones that have these things? In that is a perfect use case for something like Versa, where because we're not centralizing your data or your wallet, we're centralizing you and your organization. With that, we can build like a login structure, and we can build in permissions, and so you have multiple users in one Versa account. All that kind of stuff is something that Versa can do, and so then we could have, for example, like a Mac app or a Windows app, or I guess those are the only two OSs used by people. A Chrome OS. I don't know if you can actually do Chrome OS stuff.
No, you can't do anything on Chrome OS.
So we could have a Mac and Windows app that is a wallet
Psych. Just
that
kidding.
you could store stuff on. Or we can come out with what Coinbase does and have a cloud wallet, one that's hosted by us, and not hosted by, you know, apps like not physical, but like local apps. So Versa is the kind of thing that would make what you're suggesting possible. For starters, we're not going to go there, but it's definitely something that will.
Well, yeah, cryptocurrency in general, I think, is the type of thing that will make that kind of stuff a lot easier, right? Like, if you want to go down right now to the bank and transfer, $50,000 to somebody, like, It would be some, hold on, I gotta go get my manager and we gotta like talk about this and we all gotta like sit down and agree that nothing illegal is going on here. Crypto just makes a lot of that stuff, I mean, it's just another number.
Yeah. The rest of your question was, we've had trouble setting up business account on some exchanges. They want individual accounts, not corporate accounts.
Got it.
Yeah, so you're talking about permissions being approved, regulation, all that kind of stuff on an exchange. The reason an exchange has to do that is because they're regulated by the government. Not every country has a government that regulates, but most of them do. The U.S. is one of them, and they're pretty strict. So we're not going to be an exchange. We're not going to allow you to exchange fiat for crypto or even crypto to other crypto. We're just going to be a wallet that also provides a way for merchants to get at that wallet and charge somebody. As I mentioned before, becoming an exchange is definitely something in the cards in the future, because it would make the whole ecosystem much better if someone could just sign up to Versa, turn some of their US dollars or euros into Lumens and be off and running. But for starters, it's not somewhere we're going. Glad it makes sense.
I was just checking,
The tweeters.
I was just checking the Twitters to see.
So
if we had anything
long-term goals is to actually make the crypto future, that promised crypto future, a reality. And we're coming at it at a merchant angle where we enable the ability for people to actually buy things with crypto.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other things out there like you can buy crypto. We're coming at the angle of allowing you to buy things with crypto.
And you can follow along. We've got so our obviously our Twitter account Versa_HQ. We'll be posting anything that we eventually open source, and I anticipate there will be a few pieces of this that we eventually open source on the Versa account on GitHub. As soon as our YouTube channel gets approved, right now we're just doing this on Drew's private channel, but as soon as our YouTube channel gets approved, we'll be posting videos there as well.
Yeah, we'll be posting weekly videos like this.
Yep, and our domain is versa.cc, versa.cryptocurrency. Okay, and you can email us both at hello@versa.cc if you want more information, or Drew or Michael individually.
And along with following along with this project and us being open about how we're building it and how things are going, it'd be cool if y'all became fans too and helped us share things around when we get going. When we do share things with you, share them with other people. It'll just help us onboard a lot of people before we launch, and it'll just help us make this thing even more successful at launch.
Well, and hopefully it'll be educational too. Like, hopefully there'll be like some real value in it. I mean, how often do you? I mean, I'm not telling you like I'm the most amazing coder in the world, or I make mistakes all the time. But I've been doing this for a long time, and so has Drew, and we've built a lot of stuff. So hopefully for somebody who's maybe hasn't built as much stuff, it'll actually be really educational to follow along and be like, oh, that's how it's done. That's kind of cool, or that's observe our methods and ideas and things is how, because we're still going to be, there's going to be a lot of discussions. There's going to be a lot of figuring stuff out as we go. So we're going to try and share as much as we can along the way.
Yep. And in my mind just went blank as I was about to add on to that. Someone asked in the comments real quick if we're going to use ship or product time. Yes, and as a matter of fact, if you go to versa.cc, that site, as you'll see, is extraordinarily temporary. It's kind of a joke right now, but you can go ahead and sign up on our product time email list and get us that way too. So I hope you enjoy following along as we build this in the open.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. We are not even a week. We're like 4 or 5 days in. So this is like day 4 or 5.
This is pretty
For
much,
Versa.
this is pretty much, I mean, we're still obviously running our own, like, separate businesses, too, that are still, like, putting food on the table for now. So it's not a side project, but it is, we are definitely, like, the gears are going to be grinding, I think, for both of us in this process.
Yeah, we put the reason behind doing this even right here is to put pressure on ourselves to get this out soon, get it out fast, and I think it'll also make it more enjoyable for people following along to see things happen.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Thanks for joining us on the live stream. And M Jackson on Twitter, Drew Wilson. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Yes.
And
and we'll see you next week.
see you around.
Peace. I'm gonna kill the live stream, peeps.
I had to keep putting my shades on because I can't see anything.